Winning Blueprint presents.
It's the Redskins Report, so it's everything Redskins and anything of the sort. The 2012 Washington Redskins, your NFC East champions, the Redskins Report.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! How sweet it is. How sweet it is. HTTR. All day. We did it. We did it. Wasn't easy. It was a long journey. But we arrived at our first goal. And we can't achieve any of our other goals without the first one. Can't get to the end of the race in first place without doing all of the things that it takes to get yourself in position to win the race. Can't win the race if you don't get in it. And we're in the race. We saw the finish line. We crossed the finish line. That was the preliminary race. That was the race to qualify for the big race. That was the Olympic trials. We qualified. We're in the tournament. We got the ticket to the dance. That's what it was about the whole time. Getting that ticket to the dance. We didn't want any old ticket. We didn't want the tickets in the nosebleed section. We wanted the tickets right up front. Now, we didn't get the front row tickets. Only 2 teams in each conference get the front row tickets. So we didn't get those. But we got some tickets just as good. We got the tickets right behind the front row tickets. We got a home playoff game. We won a division. We're division champions. NFC East division champions. Man, does that sound good. How sweet does that sound? That was the primary goal, first and foremost. Win the division. Look, we all just wanted to get in. We all just wanted a ticket to the dance. We would have took tickets in the nosebleed section. Don't let me lead you astray. The goal was to get in to the dance. We would have took tickets that would have landed us anywhere in the dance. But make no mistake about it. We wanted the ticket to the dance that had NFC East champs at the bottom. No reason not to get it. It was right there for the taking. No reason for us not to get that ticket. And we got it. And we had to go through the one team that, look, you couldn't have wanted to get it any other way than going through Dallas. That's the best way to get it. To see the look of utter disappointment on their faces, priceless. To see Tony Romo suffer his most severe case of competition anxiety, priceless. To see Jerry Jones at a loss for words, losing again to his arch nemesis. He hates losing to the Redskins, especially to one of his buddies who has bragging rights now, Daniel Snyder. He hates that. To see him not be able to formulate a sentence after losing, stuttering, stammering, because he just lost another game that puts him on the outside looking in of the postseason. To watch him do that in the aftermath of the Redskins winning this game 28-18 and making it to the playoffs and winning the NFC East, sending the Cowboys home yet again, priceless. But who cares about the Cowboys? This isn't about the Cowboys. It's about us, what we accomplished, what we did, where we're going. This is about us. Forget about the Cowboys. They were in the way. Everyone was in the way. And there's still more teams yet in the way. Our job is not done. But this feels damn good. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. We deserve to have fun. Enjoy the ride. I've been telling y'all that the whole time. I've been telling every single one of you out there that's a Redskins fan. Enjoy the ride and have fun doing it. We deserve it. We've been suffering for a long time. I thought I saw one of the best signs out of the game, and the crowd showed up. I asked the crowd to show up, and man, did they ever. They said, tonight we're going to party like it's 1999. How fitting. Because we partied like it was 1999. Because that's the last time we won the division title. Want to talk about a few things to kind of set the table, because there were some things that were done in this game that were extraordinary, that really helped us win this game. So I want to talk about that quickly before we actually get into the game itself. Let's set the table for the stage and tell you a little bit about why I thought we won this game. There were some things that went on before the game, some guys that stepped up, and I think that they need to be pointed out. And I think guys need to be given kudos for their performances, because there were some standout performances in this game, and they need not go unnoticed. So I want to do that first before we actually get into the events that led up to the Redskins winning this game 28-18 and landing the Redskins as NFC East division champions. I can't say that enough. It sounds so good. It feels so good to even fix my lips to say that. I can't say that enough. But I'm going to set the table first and foremost. Can't eat without setting the table. So I'm going to set the table first. First and foremost, I owe an apology to somebody. Let me go ahead and get it out of the way. I owe D'Angelo Hall an apology. I've been one of his biggest supporters, one of his biggest backers since he's come to Washington. I thought that he was a guy that I really wanted. I said, look, he's damaged goods out in Oakland, but the man can still play football. When you play man-to-man coverage and your best attribute is making plays, you're in the wrong situation. And in Oakland, they asked him to play man-to-man coverage on every snap. That's not who D'Angelo Hall is. And so I said, give the man another chance. He's still relatively young. He's not washed up. Bring him to Washington. I wouldn't mind. We need corners. I've been one of his biggest supporters since getting to Washington. But after the Steelers game, I'd washed my hands clean of him. I was done with his theatrics, getting in trouble, getting personal foul penalties, costing his team precious yards that we can't afford to give up, and him not producing on the field. He's a guy that's being paid a lot of money, and I felt like he was underperforming his contract. Before the game started, Chris Collinsworth said, hey, D'Angelo Hall is going to be following Des Bryant around. He's the Redskins' best corner, and he's going to have to show up tonight. And I, for a second, kind of chuckled to myself. That's real funny. He's our best corner. He's going to follow Des Bryant around. Real funny, Chris. And as the game started, the first thing I looked to see is who was lined up against Des Bryant. Sure enough, it's D'Angelo Hall. I told you guys that it hurt me to say that we had to part ways with D'Angelo Hall because I like D'Angelo Hall, and I think that he's a solid corner. He's not as good as he once was, but he's a solid corner. But on a team that really needs help at corner and can't afford to get rid of corners like they have it like that, we're paying him a lot of money, and I just felt like if he's not going to play up to his standards and he's going to cost us penalties, I like the fact that he's a very competitive guy. You want guys on your team that hate to lose, but you have to know how to control yourself. And sometimes he loses sight of that. Can't have loose cannons on your team that don't know how to control themselves. They cost you at the most inopportune times. But I said all that to say this. D'Angelo Hall was outstanding in this game. And it must be said, his performance out wide on Des Bryant in this football game was one of the big keys to us winning this game. He played out of his mind. This was the old D'Angelo Hall. This was the D'Angelo Hall of old right here. This is the one that we paid all this money to come out and be a number one corner. He played some shutdown football over there. Now, there's really no such thing as a shutdown corner in the National Football League anymore. The closest thing to it is Darrelle Revis, and he assaults receivers. He gets away with murder. I won't go into that on this program because that's not what this program is about. But D'Angelo Hall was physical with Des Bryant. They were going back and forth. Both of them had their hands on each other. The referees, I thought that they did an excellent job of just letting this game play out on the field and not being the ones to actually dictate who wins this football game. I thought the officials were great in this game. That's the way I like my football. Played out on the field, decided amongst the players, not the officials. You need to be seen, not heard if you're an official. And the fact that we didn't know who the official was until the third quarter was absolutely fabulous. You couldn't ask for it any other way. I mean, two of the most penalized teams not getting a penalty until the third quarter. Really not getting a penalty till the fourth quarter. When it actually stood. You can't ask for it any other way. And I thought the officiating was great. D'Angelo Hall was D'Angelo Hall. Not the D'Angelo Hall that is a loose cannon and giving up big plays and getting beat off the line of scrimmage. He was D'Angelo Hall, the one that we fell in love with that came into the league out of Virginia Tech. That was a standout Pro Bowl caliber corner in Atlanta. We saw the real D'Angelo Hall. We need to see more of that guy. That's number one. Number two, Alfred Morris played like a man possessed. He did what he's done all season long. Let's not act like we didn't know Alfred Morris had this in him. Because if you're a Redskins fan and you've been watching the team all season, you knew that this was something that could occur. Now, did you think it was going to happen against the Cowboys? Probably not. But the Cowboys, and I said this on the preview, they're banged up. They can be exploited on defense. And I knew that we could run the ball on them. That's why I said the first key to the game was Alfred Morris in that running game. We got to run the football. Robert Griffin III had to run read option. And he did it. I knew he wasn't going to be 100%. I said he was going to be about 85%, and that was being generous. He's more like 75%. But still, I knew he had to give it a go and run that read option, if for nothing else, to threaten that Dallas Cowboys defense. That's what he did. He put pressure on them to have to make a decision. You stop read option or you stop him. And they had to choose, and they didn't know which one to do. Your end result, over 260 yards rushing in this football game. They couldn't stop the run. On a night where passing the ball for us was hard to come by, passing yards were hard to come by in this game for us. But the beauty was we didn't really have to pass. We passed when we needed to pass. The running game was our savior in this game, and it needed to be. Coming into this game, What was the best thing that we did? What's the thing that we were number one in the league at doing? Running the football, and that's what we needed to do in this game. That's what we did. And I said that's what we need to do, and that's what we did. It's a good thing, and you're a good football team when you know what your bread and butter is, and you can butter your bread at any time. What good is it to be number one if you can't do that in every single game? The game that you can't do that in is the game that you lose. Simple as that. And we needed the running game, and it showed up in a huge way. What more can we say about Big Play Rob? Big Shot Bob meet Big Play Rob. Robert Griffin III isn't the only Robert on this team getting it done. What do you do when you have a problem? You feel like you're in danger? You feel like you're in trouble? Who do you call? 5-0. That's his new nickname. Big Play Rob, a.k.a. 5-0. Rob Jackson. The man is a playmaker. Let me ask you this question. I didn't get to ask you this question. And after this, we're going to get into the game. Let me ask you this question. My man MP, he's a frequent listener of the show, frequent viewer, someone I love talking to. MP dropped a message into my box 3 weeks ago. And he asked me a question that really got me thinking. Because I don't know how you feel about Brian Orakpo. I don't know how you guys feel about Brian Orakpo. I love Brian Orakpo. I think he has the potential to really be a good player, but for the life of me, I can't understand why he won't develop secondary and third and fourth moves as a pass rusher. His only move right now is the speed rush with the rip. That's good enough because he's good enough at it to get him 8.5 sacks just about every year. But that's where it stops. And you're not elite in this league with 8.5 sacks. You're just good. And everyone has given Brian Orakpo the elite status tag for some reason, maybe because he made the Pro Bowl in his first 2 seasons. Whether he deserved it or not, that's debatable. In his rookie season, he deserved to go. In his second year, not so much. Think he got that off of reputation? Deserved or not? I don't know. I won't go there, but I will say this. He needs to be better. And he's not as good in the run game. He's a one-trick pony rushing after the quarterback. I have my reservations about Brian Orakpo and how good of a player he actually is. So MP asked me a question that got me thinking. And his question was, should we trade Brian Orakpo? You all know we don't have a first-round pick. We don't have several picks in this draft. Should we trade Brian Orakpo, get some picks, and move Rob Jackson into the starting lineup? Because you all know, when Brian Orakpo comes back, where does Rob Jackson go? In case you don't know, let me tell you. He goes back to the bench. And don't fool yourself here by thinking the more the merrier. I was talking to the CSN Washington contributor, and he told me the more the merrier. I hear what you're saying, but you can't convince me that on some third downs, on some second downs, they're just going to take Orakpo off the field and put Rob Jackson in. I'm not buying it. When Orakpo comes back, they're going to want to stick him in the game. And just like Kerrigan, they're not going to want him to come off the field most times. And so where does that leave Rob Jackson? Here it is, a guy that has worked his tail off. Ever since we drafted him, we let him go. He's come back. He's playing phenomenal football. We aren't where we are this season without 5-0. Make no mistake about it. He's gotten a nickname for a reason. Whether you want to call him Big Play Rob or 5-0 makes me no difference. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have 5-0. We don't go to the show. Simple as that. There's no Rob. There's no Ravens game. There's no Rob. Who knows if there's a Browns game? There's no Rob. Who knows if there's a Dallas game? Remember what Rob did for us in the Giants game. We didn't win that game, but he put us in position to have a heck of a chance at winning that football game. Rob's done it for us all season long. We need that sack. It's Rob. We need that forced fumble. It's Rob. We need that pick. If it's not London Fletcher, guess who it is? You guessed it. It's 5-0. So, what do you think? Should we trade or at least dangle Brian Orakpo out there as trade bait? What do you think? Because I know that you know that I know that you know that when Orakpo comes back, it's his spot. Rob will be relegated to table scraps as duty. He'll be in a backup capacity only. And who knows how many snaps he'll see. And you can't deny that this guy has a knack for making plays. And not to mention, he's a lot more stout in the run game than Brian Orakpo is. And oh, yeah, he makes plays. And Brian Orakpo really doesn't. Brian Orakpo had a chance to get an interception against the Saints and seal that game in the first game of the season. He dropped it. They went down. They scored a touchdown. They really scared the hell out of us in that game. When we didn't need to be. He catches that pick. We win the game by about 10, 14 points. And that's it. Instead, he drops it. They score. And we got to sweat it out. Rob catches that football. We've seen Rob has some of the best hands on the team. He didn't drop the ball when it hits his hands. Gotta love it. So what do you guys think? What should we do with Brian Orakpo? And look, I doubt anything gets done. Brian Orakpo isn't going anywhere. He's a big part of this team. He's a face of this franchise. Before Robert Griffin III got here, who do you think was the face of this franchise? Who was on all the commercials, the Geico commercials, the Verizon commercials? Brian Orakpo. So we're not going to just give him away. Doubt he's going anywhere. But what do you think? If the Redskins decided to dangle him out there as trade bait, how would you feel about that? What do you think about that? Because I honestly think that's not that bad of an idea. Really don't. But if they can find a way to get all these guys on the field, I'm all for it. But we know Ryan Kerrigan isn't coming off of the field. And when Orakpo comes back, I don't think they're going to take him off the field either. Where does that leave Rob Jackson? I need Rob Jackson on the field. I don't want to hide him inside because we know London Fletcher can't do this forever. But Rob Jackson is a guy that can get pressure from the outside. He's stout enough to play inside, but his talents are better displayed outside than inside. So where does that leave Rob Jackson? So I'll leave you with that. That's a little nugget for you to chew on. Love to hear your responses about that because I really feel like that's a very valid question. One that we don't have to answer now because we got playoffs to discuss. But after this thing is done, whether we win the Super Bowl or we go home after this game or we go home in the divisional rounds or the championship game, wherever this ride ends, we got questions to answer in the offseason. And I think that's a very valid one. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But let's get into the game. Let's chew on something that tastes a lot sweeter, which is a NFC East divisional crown. Let's chew on that. So let's get into the game and talk about how we were able to call ourselves NFC NFC East 2012 division champs. Can't say that enough. I can't say it enough. So the table was set. Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, they've set the table. Michelle Tafoya, she's just talked to London Fletcher. I was ready to go. And I was hoping the next image I would see was that of Kai Forbath lining up to kick the football off. And of course, what did I see? Dan Bailey lining up to kick off the football. And the most upsetting part about the whole situation was that we won the toss. Mike Shanahan won the toss, and he didn't get it. I thought he understood this because there was a point in the season where we simply just kicked the ball off for about 5, maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks straight. And I thought we understood that we needed the ball after half, and I thought Mike Shanahan was a big part of that. But I'm wrong. He's still one of those purists that thinks that you need the ball first and you need to set the tempo and yada, yada, yada. This game started like a nightmare. Everything that I didn't want to happen, happened. We didn't get the kickoff. Instead, the Cowboys kicked it off to us, so we got the ball first, which to me takes your crowd out of the game because your crowd can't be loud. Now they have to calm down. They have to let you work on offense instead of the defense getting on the field first, allowing the crowd to erupt, allowing that energy that is filling the stadium at the beginning of a game, and allowing them to really make it hard on the Cowboys. Instead, they got to simmer down, let the offense work. So we get on the field. And again, it read like a nightmare. This whole game started like a bad dream. We get on the field, and we go 3 and out. 2 runs, unsuccessful. 3rd down, we get a drop by Joshua Morgan. What was one of the things that I said in the preview? Catch the ball. It was quick. I combed over it because it was something that I didn't think I need to really address. Catch the football, and then I moved on. Well, we didn't catch it on the first possession. We got a punt. Deep in our own territory to make things worse. Okay, so fine. We got a punt. And what was something else that I mentioned? Don't allow Dwayne Harris to be a factor in this game. The man is coming on as a key contributor for this Cowboys team. I saw it. I've been watching the Cowboys like I've been watching all these teams in the National Football League, not just the Redskins. I saw what he's done over the last month, over the last 6 weeks of the season. He's coming on. He's emerging as a very rare talent in this league. Someone that doesn't mind making plays, especially in the return game, and he's starting to catch the football in this Cowboys offense. And he's got speed. I said that on the preview. You saw it firsthand in this game. So what do? We punt him the football. First punt. He takes it deep in the Redskins territory. So they're already in field goal range. If Romo doesn't help this offense gain another yard, they're in field goal range. So the defense comes onto the field, and they get 2 stops. It's third and manageable. But we get pressure. The one thing that I didn't think we were going to be able to do with great success is blitz. I thought we were just going to play coverage, come with a blitz here and there. But what I didn't know was that first 3rd down of the game was a sign of things to come. And I don't know if I said this when I set the table. I should have said it. I don't know if I did or not, but I'll say it now. This defense, Jim Haslett and this defense was nothing short of remarkable in this football game. This was the best our defense looked all season long. I don't know if this was a byproduct of the fact that the Cowboys were banged up, or we know weaknesses in the Cowboys offense, or he felt that good about what we were going to do, or we just performed for one night out of our mind. I don't know what it was, but this defense was absolutely, positively explosive in this game. Every play that needed to be made was made. You're not going to make every play in a game, but we came damn close in this game. As close as you can come to making every play that needed to be made. The defense in this game was spectacular. It was beautiful to watch. It was poetry in motion. So let me say that. Let's get back to the game. But I should have said that when I set the table. I don't remember if I said it or not, but I'm saying it now. The defense was absolutely, positively 1B. If Alfred Morris in the running game was 1A, the defense was 1B in this game. They were phenomenal. So we stopped them on first down and second down, forced them into third down, and we blitz. We go after Tony Romo. I love it. No, get him off of the spot. That was a key to this game. Get him off of his spot. Force him into mistakes. Because we all know that competition anxiety, it flares up. When you put pressure on him, you get him off his spot. You make him have to make a decision. And a tough one, you get results. You get turnovers out of Tony Romo. In the biggest spots, he plays his worst football when you make him. And we made him. We forced his hand. And look, just like that, first possession, we get a pick. We get an errant throw, miscommunication. We get Tony Romo to panic. We get a pick. And I said it to you guys. I love this Richard Crawford guy. I love what he's bringing to us on punt coverage in the return game. But more importantly, I love what he's bringing to this defense. I told you, I like this guy. He's athletic. He's not afraid to make a play. And he picked it up. Now, I would have preferred if instead of him just catching it and running across the field, if he would have turned it into a punt and actually cut it back. I thought that there was not a Cowboys defender in sight that would have been able to stop him. Tony Romo wasn't going to catch him. And I thought that he ran right into the traffic. He just went with the flow of the play, caught it, and kept going straight. I thought if he had vision and cut it back, he might have went to the house. But nonetheless, I'm not complaining. I'm not crying over spilt milk. We got the turnover. We just took points off of the scoreboard. We got momentum now. Let's go get points. So, on that next drive, that ensuing drive after the interception by Richard Crawford, we start to play football. When we start running the ball, Alfred Morris starts to get it going. And so we put together a nice drive. And anytime you start building momentum on a drive and you get in the scoring range, you want points. And I felt like in this game, sevens were premium. We needed to get sevens. But I said that it's always a great constellation prize to know that if you can't get 7, you get the next best thing, a field goal. You get 3. And for the majority of this season, ever since we got Kai Forbath, that's been automatic. You knew at some point he was going to miss. And here it was. It started wide. I thought it was going to hook in. It straightened up just enough to hit the pole. I said it's going to kick in. It didn't. Hit the pole and came back. His first miss of the season. Okay, it's fine. I'm good. Kai's good. We're good. It's okay. We're fine. It's okay. Shake it off. So, Cowboys get the football. If nothing else, I looked at it as an opportunity to flip field position. They were deep in our territory. And if we don't put together a drive, they're going to get the football back in Redskins territory or close to it. And they'll be back in a position to score points. So, if nothing else on that drive, even though we didn't get points, you always want to get points. Not making an excuse for Kai. He needs to make that field goal. He's not going to make every kick. We flipped the field position. Now they got to drive the length of the field if they want points. So great. So we get a sack. London Fletcher gets a sack of Tony Romo on first down there. It's 2nd and long. We get another stop. It's 3rd and long. So I'm thinking we're about to get back off the field. We give up a nice long pass to Des Bryant to get a first down. So I'm like, okay. He just made a play. It happens. Let's get a stop, though. Let's not allow them to get back in the field goal range. Sure enough, Tony Romo drops back, and he takes a shot down the field. And as usual, our good buddy, Madu Williams, late to the party, comes over, and he's late. Miles Austin has a slight step. He doesn't have a lot of space, but he's got a slight step on Josh Wilson. However, Tony Romo severely underthrows the football. And really, credit needs to be given to Rob Jackson because he bull rushed the tackle, Tyron Smith, into Tony Romo. He really put him on skates, jacked him up into the quarterback, and really made him short on that throw. He couldn't step into it and get all that he needed into that throw. And Josh Wilson picked it off. Voila, your second pick of the night. And at that point, you had to know we're in Tony Romo's head now. This is exactly what we needed. Now, the only problem is we've got 2 picks and we don't have anything to show for it right now. We need to go get points. Get something. That's why Kyle missing that field goal was important because we don't have anything on the scoreboard right now. As bad as the Cowboys are playing, we haven't taken advantage of anything. All we've done is stopping them from striking and getting first blood. Now we need to go get points. So we got another pick. That's great. Let's go do something with it now. So we start putting together a nice drive. A nice slant to Hankerson on a 3rd down. He catches it, runs. Beautiful. Gets Alfred Morris going in the run game some more. We sprinkle in a 3rd down pass to Santana Moss, and we're moving. We're moving the football. But then Robert missed Santana Moss on another 3rd down, wide open on the same route. Another out route by Santana. You missed him on a speed out. Okay, so we got a punt. And I noticed early on that Robert wasn't comfortable in the passing game. But it wasn't because he was just off. It was because the Cowboys were really trying to take away the pass. They made a concerted effort in this game to take away the pass. Well, you know what that gets you? That gets you over 260 yards put on your head in the run game. So you have to choose. That's why I love our offense. Because you have to choose and pick your poison. Which one is it going to be on this night? Is it going to be the pass that gets you, or is it going to be the run? You can't stop both. You got to pick. It's one or the other. And they chose to stop the pass. They weren't going to allow us to stick the ball in the belly of Alfred Morris, pull it out, and get over the top with the play action fake. They weren't going to have it. They were dropping back. They chose to drop back. Okay, well, that's fine. That means you're not respecting the run game, which is number 1 in the league. And so you got to pay. And they had to pay. So I was fine with that. So we had to punt. And this time when we punt, the Cowboys decided to go on a 13-play, 89-yard drive, culminating in a touchdown pass to Jason Witten. Now, if you were watching the game, they got away with one. They got away with a delay of game. I was screaming at the TV, delay a game, delay a game. And I had watched the Packers and the Vikings earlier on in the day, and they got a delay of game on a 3rd down, did the Packers. And it was so much quicker than that. I mean, as soon as that clock hit 0, it was delay of game. Not here. And it was 0 for a while. They really got away with the delay of game. But nonetheless, I won't cry over spilt milk. You send a 3-man rush, you're asking to give up a touchdown. Blitzing was working all night. For you to just send a 3-man rush because it's 3rd and goal from about the 14-yard line, unexcusable. And so we gave it up. You can't give Romo 18 years to throw the football and find Jason Witten. Someone's going to get open. And he found Witten, touchdown. 7-0 Cowboys. So, okay, they're on the board first. But again, my whole thing is just respond. Respond. Don't allow them to build momentum in this game. So far, we've outplayed them, and yet we have nothing to show for it. In fact, we're down. Go get some points. The running game is working. That's exactly what we did. We got the football, and we allowed the running game to take over. And I thought this was one of the biggest drives in the game because we needed to respond immediately. We didn't need to allow this to become a 10-point, a 14-point deficit. We needed to respond immediately. And on that next drive, that's exactly what we did. 8 plays, 68 yards, 60 of them coming on the ground. We dominated with the run game, and we capped it off with a Alfred Morris 13-yard touchdown run. And it was a thing of beauty. He cut it back against the grain. There was not a Cowboys defender in sight. Well blocked on that play. The key block coming by Niles Paul, who sealed that edge. He comes around, cuts it back, outruns the Cowboys defense, walks into the end zone. It's 7-7. Impressive drive, led by the ground game. Offensive line was absolutely mauling the Cowboys all night. pushing them back, creating a new line of scrimmage all night long. And on this drive, can't let this go unstated. Logan Paulson only had one catch on the night, but it was a huge catch on that drive. It's 3rd and 6. We got to have a first down to extend the drive. Robert Griffin III throws him the football. He catches it, and I told you, he's got some of the strongest hands on his team. I love it. When Logan touches the ball, I expect him to catch it because he's got strong hands. And you saw it on display on this play. If you watched the playoffs last year, you know that Sterling Moore played for the Patriots. He was the guy that knocked the football out of Lee Evans' hands to stop the Ravens from going to the Super Bowl and propelling the Patriots into the Super Bowl a year ago. And he tried to do the same thing to Logan. Logan got his hands on the ball, and he stuck his hands in right between Logan's hands and the ball, and he tried to claw it and pry it loose. Logan would have none of it. He held on to that ball like his life depended on it. And it was a thing of beauty. He got the first down, and you got to love Logan Paulson. If for nothing else, one, he's an excellent blocker. That's number one. But two, he catches the football under any circumstances. Yeah, he's had his share of drops, but they don't happen often. And that was a key play on that drive. Again, 6 of the 8 plays were runs. That was one of the passes, and that was a huge one. It helped get us into the end zone. So now it's 7-7. So the Cowboys try to respond. They drive the ball down the field, but it stalls out. We force them to have to punt the football, and they're right on the fringe. They're right kind of in no man's land. They're right around the 37-yard line. Quite far for a field goal. Too close to punt, but it wasn't 4th and 5. It was 4th and 10. And so going for it, you really can't justify it. Had it been 4th and 5, they'd probably go for it. But the fact was, it was late in the half. You don't want to go for it and really give us an opportunity to put points on the scoreboard, because if you don't get it, we've got one timeout remaining. There's probably about a good 45, maybe 50 seconds left in the first half. That's plenty of time for us to pick up 30 yards and get in the field goal range and take the lead before the half. No reason to do that. You punt the football. And Chris Collinsworth was screaming that they should have snapped the ball, caught us off guard, because we thought they were going to try a field goal. We sent the field goal team out there to try to, block the kick. And they sent the punt unit out there at the last minute. So we were all disoriented and scrambling around. But the reason they didn't snap the ball is because the referees told them they had to wait. And so I don't think Chris Collinsworth saw that. But I watched the officials. They had their hands up like telling them, wait, you can't snap the ball yet. And then as we got our guys on the field, they told them, okay, go ahead. So we caught a break. We didn't have too many men on the field, because if they caught us with too many men on the field, that would have been a 5-yard penalty. And really, they could have went in 2 different directions. They could have either decided to kick the field goal, because instead of being a 53, 52-yard field goal, at that point it turns into a 47, 48-yard field goal. That's right in Dan Bailey's wheelhouse. Or they could have said, let's go for it. It's 4th and 5. We can pick up 5 yards. And so that could have turned into a disaster for us, but it didn't. We get the football. We don't do anything. We decide to go to half. It's 7-7. That's fine. As I've stated, on this 6-game winning streak, we've been at half. It's been close. We haven't been blowing teams out going into the half. We've made adjustments, and we've been the better team. And that's what I expected to do here, and that's exactly what we did. So we come out in the second half, and Cowboys get the ball. You know how I feel about that, but they get the football. And they try to put something together, but we blitz them on 3rd down, as we've been doing all night long. Kerrigan and Fletcher get in, force them to throw the football away. They got a punt. So it's our football now. So we get the ball, and I told you from time to time, this is what Pierre Garçon does. Love him, hate him, you've got to understand that he's going to have lapses in concentration sometimes. He did it in Indianapolis, and he's done it this year with us. There's going to be times where he drops passes where he's wide open. I told you that. That just comes with the territory. You have to learn to accept that about Pierre Garçon. He's going to make some amazing catches, some eye-popping grabs. And then he's, like he did against Dallas, in Dallas. And he's going to have lapses like the one he had on the first drive of the second half for us, where he's wide open on 3rd and 7 for about a 13-yard gain, and he just flat out drops the football. It's going to happen. You have to learn to accept that about Pierre Garçon. I don't get mad. because I know that's part of his game. But I know when we need him to make the catch, he's going to make it. But you have to know that he's going to drop one every now and again. And so that was his drop. So we had to punt. Prime opportunity to really extend the drive and really put pressure on them, maybe get some points, but we squandered it. So we punt. But luckily enough for us, the defense was playing extraordinary in this game. And they forced a 3-and-out. We get the football right back. And this time, we get the running game going again. We get some play action fake finally. He hits Pierre, who makes up for that drop, catching a tough pass over the middle. Picks up a chunk of yardage. We continue to move the ball down the field. We hit Pierre on a wide receiver screen. He picks up another chunk of yardage, gets us down to about the 12-yard line. And this time, Robert does it himself, putting that ball in the belly of AM, pulling it out, going around the corner. And DeMarcus Ware was so confused in this game. It is a thing of beauty to watch defensive ends playing against our offense just utterly disoriented and confused as to what to do. Because you don't know what to do. You take a step inside, Robert's going outside. You take a step or you freeze outside, Alfred's going right up the middle. AM is running right by you. And so you got to pick. What do you do? You're in a quandary if you are that outside linebacker or defensive end. You're in a quandary. And really, our offense is set up to play against 3-4 defenses. And boy, did he look lost. We had him on a string. And on that particular play, we didn't block him. We didn't even attempt to block him. We let him confuse himself and ran right by him. Got outside, and it was beautiful blocking. He had a convoy of blocks. You had Darrell Young get out there, spring him, and Pierre Garçon was blocking like a man possessed out there. He set the edge, hooked that corner, and allowed Robert to walk into the end zone. Touchdown. We go up 14-7. That was the loudest I heard the crowd in this game. When we went up 14-7, the place erupted because we took the lead for the first time on the night. And I think you could start to feel the fact that we're going to win this game. And that was never a doubt for me. I don't know if it was for you. I never doubted for 1 second. I have family members that are Cowboys fans, and I told them a week leading up to this game, we're going to win. I hope you don't think you're going to the postseason because you're not a better team than us. We're going to win. So I had no doubts we were going to win this game. But I think seeing that touchdown being scored, taking the lead, and the way the game was going, you felt good about us taking the lead. You felt like we're not going to give this lead up. So we go ahead 14-7. And I felt like it was no turning back after that. I really did. So that 9-play, 82-yard drive capped by the Robert Griffin, the third run for a touchdown, puts us ahead 14-7. And we go on defense. And the first play after we scored on defense, London Fletcher has a chance to really put a nail in the Cowboys' coffin. Tony Romo throws him a gift, and he dropped the football. And London normally doesn't drop it. No, he had to be kicking himself. Because he probably would have scored if he caught that pick. But he bobbled it. He didn't get it. And after he bobbles that, they proceed to drive down the field, do the Cowboys, get in the field goal range. And they have a promising drive, but we blitzed them 3 straight times. The Cowboys elected to bypass the run, which had been successful on this drive. And they elected to pass 3 straight times. Well, we blitzed them 3 straight times. On second down, they tried a screen, a wide receiver screen. We busted it up. Kerrigan dropped into coverage. Richard Crawford read it beautifully. He had to throw it into the ground. Third down, we came after him. He had to throw it away. Had to kick a field goal. 14-10. Cowboys get the field goal, cut it to a 4-point game. So we get the football back. And again, the offense, for the most part, all night, hadn't really been stopped. We really, other than the first possession when we went 3-and-out, we really were moving the football. Whether we got points or not, didn't always happen, but we were moving the football. And so we continued to move the football. And this time, the running game worked again. Got us into third and manageable after completing a pass to Santana Moss on a wide receiver screen, getting us into third and manageable after losing a few yards on first down. And so it's third and about 5. And we're able to throw a slant to Pierre Garçon. He catches it, plucks it out of the air, runs, gets about 13 yards on the play, gets us to the Cowboys' 32-yard line. On the very next play, AM gets the football, goes off tackle to the left side of the offense, cuts it all the way back across the grain, and the backside blocking on this play, it is what you dream of. It's what you coach players to do. It's what you would have on a film, on a clinic on how to block on the backside of a play when you have a running back that can cut it back against the grain. I mean, the work that was done on the backside of that play, can't do it any better. I mean, what Chris Chester did on the backside of that play, magnificent. And he took his guy and literally moved him 7 yards off the play. Because if you know Chris Chester, you know he's on the right side. He's our right guard. He's on the right side of the formation. So he takes his guy not only 7 yards down the field, but he takes him another 7 yards left. Allows Alfred Morris to cut it back behind him and run the daylight. And there is nobody in sight down the middle of the field after Alfred Morris cuts it back. 32-yard touchdown run. We're up 21-10. You can feel it. You can feel that we're about to win this game. The Cowboys can feel it slipping through their fingers. We got all the momentum. The crowd is going nuts. And now we're up 2 scores. They're in the danger zone. What a beautiful drive. And at that point, if you weren't already noticing and you hadn't already come to the conclusion that they couldn't stop the run, you knew it after that point. We're pounding these guys into the ground. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the run. Let's pound them into the ground. That's what I was saying. They can't stop the run. Pound these clowns into the ground was what I was saying. They can't stop the run. 21-10. Redskins lead. Cowboys get the football. 2 straight chunk plays by the Cowboys. Right after they get the football, boom, they hit a big play to Ogletree. Boom, they hit a big play to Des Bryant. And just like that, they're in scoring range. They're right on the fringe of the 35-yard line or so. So they're right there. You know, a couple more yards, and even if they don't get another first down, you got a field goal. And we don't want them cutting this back to a 1-score game. You want to keep this at a 2-score game. Keep your cushion. You just earned it. Don't give it away. So the Cowboys elect to take it to the air. Again, they've gotten down the field, throwing it in the air. And at this point, we're in the 4th quarter. They're running out of time. They see that salt starting to wind down in that hourglass. They're running out of time. And so they're taking it to the air now. They're putting it on Tony Romo's shoulders. And if you've been following the Cowboys, you know that of late, that's been their bread and butter. Fall behind, come back in the 4th quarter. They did it against Cleveland. They did it against Pittsburgh. They did it against the Saints, even though they lost that game. That's what they've been doing of late. Falling behind, coming back and winning. So we weren't safe yet. And you knew this game wasn't going to be a blowout. You had to know that. Cowboys, Redskins, NFC East, family business. You knew this wasn't going to be a blowout. So we need to stop, though. And I said, don't let Tony Romo out of the pocket. You get a chance to get him, get him. And we blitzed. And Jim Haslett has been doing it all game, and I love it. Live by the blitz, die by the blitz. And I didn't mind. Go get him. Get him off his spot. And so we sent the house. And London Fletcher came free. He goes after him. And Romo decides to run 15 yards backwards because he wants to get away. And London Fletcher said, not today. Not today. Sacks him for a 15-yard loss. They have to punt. At that point, I'm thinking, they're done. We got them. Because they needed points right there. We're going to get the football back with about 9 minutes. close to 8 minutes. We got a chance to put together a lengthy drive. They can't stop the run. We got a chance to eat up the clock with about 3 first downs. And even if we don't get points and we take 5 minutes off this clock, they need 2 scores and they get the football back with 4 minutes. They're done. Why can't we do that? Why can't we eat up the rest of this clock? Why can't we go into 4-minute offense mode and end this game? Why can't we do that? Why can't we do what we did against the Giants? We get the football back with about 7 minutes and 58 seconds. Why can't we just run out the rest of this clock? I'll tell you why we can't do that. We get the football back. We get 8 yards on first down. And that's just what you want. That's the promising start you want to this drive. 8 yards on first down, 2nd and 2. We're getting that first down. They can't stop us from getting 2 yards in 2 plays. And wouldn't you know it, perfect time for our first penalty of the game. Trent Williams jumps, false start. And to me, that was a key play in the game. I highlighted that as one of my key plays because he doesn't jump, false start there. We pick up that first down. We're going to move this football. We're going to eat up clock. The Cowboys may never see the ball again, and if they do, it will be with little to no time remaining. Because they can't stop the run at this point. Instead of it being 2nd and 2, it's 2nd and 7. They stop us on 2nd and 7. Force us to throw on 3rd and 7. We don't pick it up. We got to punt. And that changed the game because it gave them back the ball immediately. And they needed the ball back immediately. They needed it right then and there. They didn't need to wait 3, 4, 5 minutes down the road to get the football back. They needed the ball now. And that penalty gave them an opportunity to get the football now. So now we got a punt. And just when you thought this lead was safe, the X factor, as MP called him, the X factor. The guy that I told you we couldn't sleep on in this game, Dwayne Harris, catches a punt. And I told you he has a flair for the dramatics. Anytime you think that this lead is safe, anytime that you think the Cowboys are out of it, and someone punts him the football, somehow, some way, he gets around the corner and he just turns on the afterburners. And for some reason, there's never anyone there to knock him out of bounds. So when Sav Rocker decided to grab his face mask, his hair, his head, and any other thing he could get his hands on, I gave him a standing ovation. Gave him a standing ovation because I don't ask a lot out of my kickers. Just ask you to do 2 things. 3, depending on what your job is. If you're a field goal kicker, I ask you to kick field goals and make stops on tackles if you're the kickoff specialist. If you're the punter, I ask you to punt the ball, hold the ball as the holder on field goal attempts, and make tackles on special teams. That's it. And so, Sav Rocker, being an ex-rugby player, had no problem going in there and mixing it up and grabbing his head, face, hair, everything. Good for you. Do whatever you need to do to get him out of bounds, to get him down. Force them to have to score a touchdown. Don't give up a touchdown down the sideline. So I was all for that penalty. I didn't mind. Make the Cowboys put it in the end zone. I like our defense's chances of stopping them from getting in the end zone. And they gave it a run. They got the Cowboys to 3rd and 4. And they would have had a tough decision to make. Do we go for it or do we take the 3 points and cut it to a 1-possession game? And I think they would have had to settle for the field goal. I mean, you got to take the points and cut it to a 1-possession game. You can't be a beggar trying to be a chooser in that situation. You're begging for points. You got to take the field goal. So we were 1 play away from really getting a win there. But as usual, you knew this game had to come down to the wire. So we had to give up a touchdown here. And Romo makes a great throw to Ogletree in the end zone. Touchdown. Back shoulder throw. Really wasn't much that could have been done on that play. They get in the end zone. Now they got to go for 2. This is the all-important 2-point conversion because if they don't get it, it's still a 5-point game. They still need a touchdown, which is what you want. But again, Tony Romo makes an excellent throw. Back shoulder to Dwayne Harris, who makes an excellent catch. It's 18-21. What did you think this game was going to come down to? We're the Redskins. We don't put teams away in terms of blowing them out. You know how we do. We make it interesting. We're Redskins. That's what we do. So, it's 21-18. We got a 3-point lead. You know, and Now we need a big drive from the offense. Really, I want to have a Giants game drive. Don't give it back to them. Eat this clock up. Don't let the Cowboys see the football again. Niles Paul does his part. Beautiful 48-yard return. Gets outside, breaks a tackle, stiff arms the kicker, down the sideline. We're basically at midfield. Excellent. Because even if we don't get a first down and we have to punt, that kickoff return has flipped field position, if nothing else. So the very next play, Robert Griffin III tucks it and runs. The Cowboys try to make an adjustment. DeMarcus Ware was occupied with stopping AM. Ernie Sims was preoccupied with trying to get outside and stop Robert from taking off on the outside as he had done all night. And so the middle was vacated, and Robert took off up the middle, got 15 yards, and just like that, we're at the 39-yard line. We're 7 yards, we're 5 yards, we're 6 yards away from Kai Forbath field goal range. We don't even need another first down. A few yards, and we're in field goal range. But you knew it wasn't going to be that simple. Nothing ever is for this team. And so we get to third down. They get a little bit of pressure. Robert is kind of befuddled in the pocket. He tries to get out, but we know the mobility isn't quite where it needs to be yet. He starts to try to run, and he's tracked down by Anthony Spencer. What is very impressive on this play is that 90% of the quarterbacks in the league fumble on this play because he came with an aggressive bolo punch. He should have fumbled. I don't know how he didn't fumble. That was one of the plays of the game. Him not fumbling. What he didn't do on that play. Because, again, 90% of the league fumbles on that play. You have to be strong to not fumble the football there. Because he came with an aggressive punch and he hit it home. I mean, he got up in there. Robert just wouldn't let go of that football and he went down. And he got hurt. He hit his face right on the ground. Kind of shook him up a little bit. Took him a while to get up, but he hung on to that football. So we had to punt, but he didn't turn it over. If he turns that over, we probably lose the game. It's really simple. That ball goes trickling right to the side. A Cowboys defender probably scoops it up, scores. Robert wouldn't let it go. That's the heart of a champion right there. Save the game. We punt. Pin the Cowboys deep in their own territory. And say, look, you want this? You got to go get it. You want to take this from us? You got to pry it from us. We're not giving you anything. You're going to have to beat our blitz, and you're going to have to do something you really haven't been able to do all day. Beat our defense all the way down the field. Good luck. So here it is. Romo with a chance. Cowboys down 3, 21-18. A little bit over 3 minutes to go in the game. He's got the football. He's got a chance. Cowboys get it back with about 4 minutes left. What are you going to do? This is where legacies are made and forged. This is a chance for Tony Romo to erase all the demons. He's had a subpar night to this point. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Hasn't played his best football. Has been under siege all night. He can erase all of that with one drive. All of the bad moments, all of the lost football games, the Giants games, the Eagles games, the Seahawks game. He can erase all of that on one drive. And what does he do at the 3:08 mark in this game? He does what Tony Romo does under heavy pressure. The competition anxiety flares up. And in one of his most severe cases, one of his most severe episodes ever, he lofts it up. And make no mistake about it, Rob Jackson did a great job of selling the fact that he was rushing and that DeMarco Murray was going to be wide open. He took 2 steps as if he was rushing and then dropped into coverage. Lofts it up in the air. And when you're in trouble, when you feel threatened, you're in imminent danger, who do you call? 5-0. And he always comes to our rescue. And wouldn't you know it, the ball was floating in the air. It seemed like an eternity. I watched it float, and I saw Rob dropping into coverage, and I saw Rob start to make his play on the ball, and it was like, it's like the heavens opened up. Time stood still for a second. He picks it off, falls to his knees, doesn't even attempt to get up, doesn't need to. We got this game. Rob has done it again. Big play, Rob strikes again. 5-0. Gotta love this guy, man. How can you take him off the field? That's another discussion for another day. Right now, Rob is the man. We got the ball at around the 35-yard line, and at this point, with 3 minutes to go in the game, I just want to eat up the clock. I don't even care if we don't score any more points. The Cowboys don't need to see the football again. 3 first downs will do the trick. But the way they can't stop the run, I'm thinking we might gash them and score quick. Either way, if we go up 2 scores, they're done. So one of two things needs to happen. Either they don't need to touch the football again, or we need to score a touchdown and extend the lead to 10 and 2 scores and put the game out of reach. But by no means, under no circumstances, do we not come away with points or kick a field goal. Because a field goal still leaves the door open for the Cowboys to win this game by scoring a touchdown. And so I wanted either a touchdown or the Cowboys not to touch the ball again. One or the other. You pick. I don't care which one. Just do one of the other. Don't allow the Cowboys to get this football back, trailing by 6 with a chance to win, though. And so we run the ball. Alfred Morris, AM, is doing it again. And I call him AM because a lot of people are sleeping on him. Around the league, they don't know about Alfred Morris. They're sleeping on him. And there's nothing like a cold, hard slap in the face by AM. And that's what he is. That's why I call him AM, because he's the morning. He's a wake-up call. He's that slap in the face that you need when you're sleeping on somebody. And they're sleeping on him, and so he's AM. Wake up. Rise and shine. And that's what he did to the Cowboys, and that's what he did to the whole league. He was on display. I don't think everybody realized the rookie campaign he's had this year. Not only did he break any rookie record of rushing for the Redskins, he broke their franchise record. He's a monster. And everyone got to see it. 33 carries, 200 yards. AM was on display. And he did not disappoint. You didn't know him before, you know him now. We forced the Cowboys to use all of their timeouts. They stopped the clock, their final time with their final timeout with 2:35 remaining in the game. So this is it. We pick up a first down, game's over. We let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning, and it's basically done. But we need a first down. So we throw the football. We spread it out, clear the backfield, and he tries to throw a slant to Pierre Garçon. It's been working all day. We threw the slant to Hankerson. We've thrown the slant to Garçon earlier. Didn't work this time. Great coverage by Claiborne, but we get a gift. Cowboys haven't had a penalty to this point in the game. They've had one holding call, but we declined it because we got a sack on the play. So they haven't officially had a penalty called on them until now. And the worst time they could have one, Jason Hatcher hits Robert Griffin III in the head as he's throwing the football. Blow to the head of the quarterback. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Just what we needed. Just what the doctor ordered. Only problem with that is the clock stops on the penalty. So now we got to run a play just to get it to the 2-minute warning so the Cowboys, in effect, get another timeout. So now we can't end the game by just taking knees. We either have to score a touchdown or we got to take up all the time we can and then kick a field goal. But we're so close to the end zone now, we need to get 7. 7 and the game's over. And the best way to do it is to score on third down, because by doing that, you'll run off a minute and 20 seconds and you'll score a touchdown, which will give the Cowboys back the football with basically 40 seconds. Down 10, the game's over. You score on first down, the Cowboys get the football back with a minute 40 seconds left. They're still down 2 scores, but they get the ball back with more time to do damage. So it happened just the way we wanted to. But the Cowboys couldn't allow us to score, because if they held us out of the end zone, forced us to kick a field goal. They still get the ball back, only down a touchdown, they still win the game. And with Dwayne Harris back there on kickoff, you just never know. So you want to give yourself a shot. But they weren't able to keep AM out of the end zone. On third down, he gets in the end zone. We go up 10, and that's your ball game. 28-18 is your final. We are NFC East Division champs. How sweet it is. How sweet it is. We did it. We were one of the 6 participants, one of the first 6, to cross that finish line and get into the postseason. We had a goal in front of us. We got that goal. Check. NFC East Division champs? Check. Make the playoffs? Check. But we got more boxes to check off. We got more boxes to check off. We got more football to play. We're not satisfied with just making it, having a token appearance in the postseason and then going home. We have work to do. Enjoy this. Enjoy it. Enjoy this all up the way till. Enjoy this all the way up until Thursday. Enjoy it. This is fun. Enjoy it. Bask in it. But you got to move on after Thursday because we got a tough team coming to Washington in the Seattle Seahawks. It's like looking in the mirror. We like to run the football, power run game. They like to run the football, power run game. They got a rookie quarterback. We got a rookie quarterback. We run read option. They run read option. Only difference between the two teams, they play better defense than we do. We give up 24 points a game. They give up 15. And so we're going to have our work cut out for us. But that's another segment. That's another show for another time. Enjoy this one. I'm not going to talk to you about Seattle Seahawks today. No need to. Enjoy the win. NFC East champions. Enjoy it. Hasn't been since 1999. Have fun with it. I'll come back later in the week. We'll talk Seattle Seahawks. We'll talk playoff football. Enjoy this one. Let this one savor for a bit. You deserve to. Man, it feels good. We did it. NFC East champions. I can't say that enough. Man, it feels good. It feels good to be a Redskins fan. And it feels good to say that. After all these years, after all this time, it feels good to say that. We got a lot to do. We got a long way to go. But for Santana Moss, for Chris Cooley, for London Fletcher, all the guys that have been here, Lorenzo Alexander, through the struggle, through the 4-12, through the 5-11, through the 6-10s, through the firings, through the controversy, through the Albert Haynesworths, the Donovan McNabb, who have been here through it all. I'm happy for those guys. They deserve this. But we got more work to do. And I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this nugget. I'll leave you to chew on this until the next time we meet. The last 2 times we've been in the postseason, who's eliminated us? I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. My Redskin spirit will never fold. Till we meet again, you know what time it is. Hail to the Redskins. Not just to the Redskins, to the NFC East champion Redskins. You better hail to the Redskins. Come back later in the week. We'll talk Seattle Seahawks. We'll talk playoffs. We'll talk what it takes to get a win at home in the postseason and move on to the divisional round of the playoffs. I'll see you later in the week. Enjoy. We're champions.
Whether it's losses or wins, it's all skins. Come get it. I'm holding down the fort. You know why? Because it's the Redskins Report.